Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Latasha. This is Clara's Revival. I am your certified self revival and master spirit coach. I specialize in coaching survivors of domestic abuse and related trauma. I hope everyone is doing well, having a lovely day. I know I am. I just want to pop in with three myths about domestic violence that I really feel need to be talked about. These three myths really trigger me, so bear with me. I'm going to try to get through it, y'all. So before we go into the myths of domestic violence, I think it's very important to first define what is domestic violence. This definition comes from the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. They define domestic violence to be willful intimidation, physical assault, sexual assault, battery, and or other abusive behavior used as a systematic pattern of power and control against an intimate partner. Again, that very first sentence is important to me. Willful intimidation, physical assault, sexual assault, battery, and or other abusive behavior. So with that definition of what domestic violence is, I think it's very important to go into the first myth. The misconception is that violence must be present in order for the relationship to be an abusive one. That is not true. Just because someone is not hitting you does not mean that you are not in an abusive relationship. Abuse is abuse, whether it's physical, whether it's financial, controlling the money, giving you allowance, and not working, wanting you to work your own job or work towards your own goals. All that is abuse. Just because it has not gotten to a point to where it is physical does not mean that it won't, and it does not mean that it is not abuse. Stop it. Okay? Number two, when violence is not present, it does not mean that the victim is in any less danger or that it is easy for that person to get out of the relationship. There is still that structure of power and control that goes on, that controls the mind. So the fear isn't just from the physical action, it's from the mental aspect as well. It doesn't mean that it's any easier for them. It doesn't mean that it's less scary for that person. It doesn't mean that your pain is less valid because you are not being physically hit. Okay? I'm going to need us to really understand what abuse is and what it looks like, the characteristics. It's not just someone putting hands on you. It starts way before that with control of your mind. This goes into number three. This one here really gets me. All of these misconceptions I've had to deal with on a personal level, and to try to thrive from what that misconception that people throw on you can really be an uphill battle sometimes. Number three, third myth about domestic violence. The victims are weak. The victims are weak for not leaving their abuser, and they deserve what they get. I'm gonna need for people who haven't experienced this type of relationship to really get off your high horse and to be able to be empathetic and really know that there's many reasons as to why a person would endure abuse. You don't know what their childhood was like. You don't know what their circumstances are. You don't know if they hanging in it, to have a roof over their head. You really don't know what people are going through. So to be able to sit from a point of not understanding and say that a person who endures abuse is weak, stop it. Because truth is, whether you are being hit or not, we all have allowed someone to abuse us in some way or another. Whether it's by, someone simply maybe using us too much for a ride. Maybe they always need a ride. It ain't never got no gas money. And you always there coming to their aid. Guess what? That's abuse too. So let's stop this comparison of pain. This is not the pain Olympics. And it's just as serious. Okay? All right, y'all. So, with all that said, I want to give some examples of abuse. There's a wide variety of actions and behavior that are classified as abuse. I'm just going to give a few. For instance, isolation is a big one. Isolation from friends and family, and showing jealousy towards friends and family, or anything particular person or hobby or anything that might bring you joy, that person who is an abuser will find ways to take that joy away from you and bring in that jealous behavior and sort of make you feel bad for, wanting to have a life outside of them. Another example of abuse is extreme criticism. You can't do this right. You can't cook. You don't know how to do this. You're a bad mother. You're fat. You're ugly. All that always having to say something negative about you. A person who loves and cares about you is not going to talk to you in that way. It types into your psyche and it makes you believe that you are less valuable. And over time, you will start to believe what that person is telling you, because if the person who loves you and you're supposed to be in a loving relationship with you is telling you all these negative things about yourself, you start to believe it, okay? Another example of abuse is telling a person what to do, how to dress. You always, just trying to be overbearing and always, wanting to be in a Kool-Aid, wanting to run their life, not wanting someone to have a brain and think for themselves. That is abusive behavior, not just physical. Stalking. Abusers stalk, calling you 50-11 times. You ain't answering the phone. Maybe you got a job. They get upset about simple stuff like that. That's weird, y'all. It ain't normal. Popping up at places where they hadn't been invited because they're insecure. Weird behavior. It's abusive behavior. So please, let's dispel these myths about domestic violence and get clear on what the definition is. And know that on some level or another, we all have experienced some sort of abuse from someone in our life. Let's be more compassionate. Let's be more kind to each other. Let's be more empathetic in our experiences of what we all have gone through. And let's begin to love each other and heal through that. Okay? I'll check in with y'all later. You take care. I love you.